At 4:32 a.m. on February 18, 2023, Raj Malhotra, 34, returned to his apartment on Mallory Avenue, Jersey City, after finishing a night shift at an auto repair shop near the port. The building was quiet, but the front door to his unit on the second floor was broken. Police tape covered the entrance. Inside, furniture was overturned, drawers pulled out, floor covered with scattered items. No officers remained on the scene. The first person Raj spoke to was Mrs. Gupta, a neighbor from the same floor, an elderly woman who had moved from Delhi decades earlier. Speaking in Hindi, she told him that around 3 a.m., several police vehicles arrived, lights flashing. She heard shouting in English, a woman screaming, then a single gunshot. Officers stayed for about 40 minutes before leaving. She was not questioned. Raj called the police non-emergency line and was instructed to go to the Hudson County Medical Examiner's office. There, at 6:10 a.m., he was shown through glass the body of his wife, Alicia Brooks Malhotra, 31, African-American, employed as a school psychologist at Lincoln High School. The body showed a single gunshot wound to the chest. Death was pronounced at 3:26 a.m. The official incident report listed the cause as accidental death during lawful execution of duty. The report stated that at 3:14 a.m., officers responded to an anonymous call alleging drug activity in the apartment. According to the report, the suspect attempted to grab an object resembling a weapon. The officer fired one round. The report was signed by Lieutenant Connor, badge number 4172. Raj read the report 3 times. His English, though fluent after 12 years in the United States, still carried a trace of Mumbai accent. He could not reconcile the description with reality. He and Alicia did not use or sell drugs. She worked for the school district. He repaired vehicles. Their finances were modest but stable. When Raj returned home later that day, the apartment remained sealed, but he was permitted to enter briefly to collect personal belongings. The main rooms were disordered. In the bedroom, Alicia's purse was on the bed, contents spilled. Her laptop was open on the desk, still running. Raj noticed that the basement storage unit key was missing from its hook. He went down to the shared basement. The door to their assigned storage unit had been broken from the inside, the padlock torn off. Boxes had been moved. Under a stack of old blankets, a section of the wooden floor showed signs of being pried open. Beneath it was an empty space, roughly the size of a shoebox. The dust pattern suggested something had been stored there recently and removed. Back upstairs, Raj examined Alicia's laptop. The most recently accessed file was a scanned case file dated 2010. The document was from the Newark Police Department archive, describing the fatal shooting of Darius Holmes, age 19, on August 4, 2010. The listed eyewitnesses included Alicia Grant, age 16. The name was Alicia's maiden name. Raj froze. Darius Holmes had been his first close friend in America. When Raj arrived in 2013, still learning English, he found work as an apprentice mechanic. Darius, recently released from prison after a conviction for drug possession, had come to the shop seeking part-time work. He taught Raj colloquial English, helped him navigate the bus routes, and often defended him when customers made racial jokes about tech support or his accent. Darius had been arrested in 2009, served 5 years, and after release in early 2010, tried to rebuild his life. A month later, he was shot by police during what was described as an attempted arrest. The report then also cited resisting with a weapon. Raj had attended the funeral, where the casket was closed. He remembered Darius's mother, Gloria Holmes, crying and shouting accusations at uniformed officers outside the church. The case was officially closed as justified use of force. Now, 13 years later, Raj saw his wife's name connected to the same case. He printed the old file and placed it in a plastic envelope. Nothing else on the laptop suggested drugs or criminal activity. Internet history showed recent searches for Hudson County Police Internal Affairs, case reopening procedure, and witness protection. 2 days later, Alicia's funeral was held at a small interfaith chapel on Kennedy Boulevard. Attendants included her school colleagues, members of Raj's local Indian community, and several police officers. The officers stood apart, near the exit. Raj recognized none of them. One younger officer, possibly Latino, appeared nervous and avoided eye contact. After the ceremony, Dr. Vanessa Coleman, a fellow school psychologist, approached Raj. She handed him a folded note found among Alicia's desk papers at work. The handwriting was Alicia's. It read, "If something happens, look for Lieutenant Connor. He killed Darius, and not just him." Raj kept the note in his wallet. That evening, as he sat alone in the apartment, his phone vibrated with a new WhatsApp message from an unknown number. The message contained a single audio file, duration 12 seconds. The voice was male, electronically distorted. The words were, "Your black bitch stuck her nose in other people's business. Go back to your country, or join her." On February 24, 2023, 3 days after Alicia's funeral, Raj Malhotra was working at the Jersey City auto shop. At 2:15 p.m., a gray Honda Civic stopped near the service bay. The driver, Detective Tyler Reed, exited, handed Raj a sealed flash drive, and left without speaking. The encounter lasted less than half a minute. The flash drive contained one file labeled 03_14_23_bodycam.mp4. The timestamp matched the night of Alicia's death. The video showed her in the basement, placing a brown folder beneath floorboards. Hearing footsteps, she turned, raised her hands, and screamed. Lieutenant Connor appeared with a weapon. One shot followed. The image froze for 4 seconds, then resumed, showing Alicia motionless on the floor. Raj replayed the footage repeatedly. She was unarmed, her hands visible. The pause indicated deliberate editing. Searching her belongings that evening, Raj found a small diary. The first entries were dated 2010. At 16, Alicia Grand described witnessing the shooting of Darius Holmes, 19, in Newark. Returning home from a friend's, she had seen Darius pinned to a wall by an officer, hands raised. Another officer approached from behind and fired 3 shots. Darius collapsed. The shooter turned and saw her. She ran. 2 days later, detectives came to her home. They told her she was mistaken, threatened her parents, and forced her to sign a revised statement. It was dark. He may have resisted. She wrote afterward, "I killed Darius with my silence." The diary continued over years, describing guilt and nightmares. In the final pages, dated February 10, 2023, Alicia mentioned a student, Ethan Connor, 14, son of Lieutenant Connor. The boy confided that he had opened his father's safe and found photographs of several dead men, all minorities, with police report forms. Terrified, he gave the folder to Alicia, asking for help. She recognized 2 victims, Darius Holmes, 2010, and Miguel Torres, 2015. She recorded a deposit box number, writing, "Keeping evidence safe." Raj found a small key in her purse, traced to Hudson Federal Bank. With the death certificate, he accessed box 3927. Inside were reports and photographs spanning 2008 to 2022. 7 fatal shootings, each ruled justified. Victims were African American or Latino. Ballistic data contained inconsistencies in weapon numbers and wound entries. A USB drive labeled 2010_phone_video showed handheld footage of Darius's death. The recording matched Alicia's written account. Darius facing the wall, hands up, Connor firing 3 rounds, an off-camera voice shouting, "He wasn't resisting." Connor turned toward the camera. "Turn that off, or you're next." Raj understood that Alicia had collected this material over years, possibly through school contacts or public databases, preparing to expose Connor. The anonymous drug call had been staged to recover or destroy the folder. Her death had silenced a witness who once stayed silent as a teenager. At home, Raj spread the files on the table. He listed the names: Darius Holmes, 2010, Miguel Torres, 2015, Robert Jameson, 2016, Luis Mendoza, 2017, Jamal Price, 2019, Kevin Ortiz, 2021, Marcus Hill, 2022. All were minorities, all cases signed off by Connor. He opened his wallet, looked at Alicia's photo. Their marriage had faced disapproval from both communities. His Indian parents never accepted it, but Alicia's commitment had never wavered. She had tried to right an old wrong, and it cost her life. That night, Raj called his mother in Mumbai. He said nothing about the evidence, only cried quietly. She prayed for him in Hindi. He listened, silent. The next morning, he organized the evidence in folders, labeling them by year. On March 3, 2023, Raj Malhotra met Special Agent Carol Mitchell from the FBI's Newark field office. He handed her the flash drives, photos, and printed reports linking Lieutenant Connor to 7 fatal shootings. Mitchell reviewed the evidence and said, "It's enough to open a federal inquiry, but it will take time. We need warrants, court orders, and cooperation from internal affairs." She warned that Connor had strong protection through the police union. Estimated time to reach trial, 6 months or more. A week later, Connor was placed on administrative leave with pay pending investigation. Internal Affairs conducted brief interviews with officers named in the files. Mitchell called Raj on March 10th. The investigation had stalled. The key witness, Officer Luis Vasquez, who filmed the 2010 alley footage, had withdrawn cooperation, stating fear for his family. Forensic experts questioned the authenticity of ballistic documents, calling them incomplete and potentially altered. Connor's legal team filed a motion to dismiss the inquiry for lack of credible evidence. Raj began to understand the situation. The system was moving slowly, protecting its own hierarchy. He called Mitchell again. She repeated that bureaucracy could not be bypassed. "We have to follow procedure," she said. The call ended. That night, Detective Tyler Reed appeared at Raj's apartment building. Reed looked unshaven, exhausted. Without entering, he handed Raj a folded note containing an address in Bayonne and a short message. "Connor meets Jason Blake here. Blake handled his payoffs. The system won't punish him. You can. I'll cover your alibi." Reed walked away. Raj tore the note into pieces, but could not throw it out. For 3 days, he avoided deciding what to do. He worked shifts at the garage, spoke little, and spent nights staring at Alicia's side of the bed. His green card lay on the nightstand. It had taken 12 years to obtain. One arrest could mean deportation. He looked at Darius's photo beside Alicia's, then at the envelope of evidence, still sealed in his desk. On March 13th, Raj went to a friend's private garage in Newark. The owner, a Punjabi mechanic, supplied him with a pistol, ammunition, and a suppressor without asking questions. Raj had never held a firearm before. His hands shook. Over the next 3 nights, he drove to an abandoned lot and practiced until he could shoot without flinching. On March 19th, Connor met businessman Jason Blake at a warehouse near Bayonne's industrial docks. Raj arrived 2 hours earlier, parking several blocks away. Inside the warehouse, he waited on a metal platform above the floor. Around 9:40 p.m., Blake arrived with 2 armed guards. Connor entered 15 minutes later with 2 plainclothes officers who had appeared in earlier reports. From above, Raj recorded short clips on his phone. The conversation below was tense. Blake offered Connor money to disappear and keep silent about past arrangements. Connor refused, saying he had evidence of Blake's past trafficking. The discussion escalated to threats. Raj descended quietly, hood pulled up, pistol in hand. When one guard noticed movement, Raj fired a warning shot, hitting the man in the leg. The second guard drew his weapon. Raj swung a wrench, disarming him. One of the plainclothes officers reached for his gun. Raj fired once, hitting his shoulder. Panic followed. Connor tried to run toward the exit. Raj caught him with a metal pipe, knocking him down. Within minutes, he had all 5 men restrained with zip ties found in a supply box. Connor lifted his head, saw Raj's face, and said, "Fucking terrorist." Raj ignored the insult. He took out his phone, opened the video of Alicia's killing, and played it in front of him. Connor watched silently as the image repeated. Raj forced him onto his knees, hands behind his head, the same position Alicia was in. Connor smirked. "You don't have the balls, curry boy." Raj's breathing slowed. He remembered Alicia's body in the morgue, Darius teaching him English words years ago, customers calling him names. He pulled the trigger once. The shot entered Connor's chest. Raj turned to the 2 plainclothes officers who had stood in Alicia's basement that night. Both were wounded and unable to move. He shot them without hesitation. Blake begged for mercy, offering money and information. Raj fired once more. The 2 injured guards remained alive, but immobile. He left the scene within minutes, drove to the Bayonne Bridge, burned his gloves and hoodie, and threw the pistol into the water. Back home, he washed his hands repeatedly until his skin turned red. Then he sat on the floor beside Alicia's photo and a small Ganesh statue she had kept from their wedding. He did not cry. At 2:10 a.m., Raj turned off the light. Silence filled the apartment. For the first time since her death, he felt nothing. No anger, no fear. Only the absence of both. On the morning of March 20th, 2023, maintenance workers discovered 5 bodies at a warehouse in Bayonne. Among them were Lieutenant Connor, 2 plainclothes officers, and businessman Jason Blake. 2 security guards were injured but alive. Both described the shooter as a South Asian male in his 30s who fled in a gray sedan. By noon, Agent Carol Mitchell arrived at the scene. Based on the testimony and digital traces, she compiled a short list of possible suspects. Raj Malhotra's name was near the top. The next day, Mitchell located Raj at the Jersey City garage where he worked. He did not attempt to flee. When she approached, he quietly extended his hands. He was handcuffed without resistance. His green card was suspended pending federal charges. The arrest report listed 4 counts of first-degree murder and unlawful possession of a firearm. In custody, Raj spoke little. For 3 days, he remained silent in the county detention cell. On the 4th day, Agent Mitchell received a file through an attorney representing Luis Vasquez, the former officer who had filmed the 2010 incident. Vasquez had decided to testify now that Connor was dead. He submitted the full unedited recording of Alicia's murder and a signed statement confirming Connor's involvement in multiple falsified reports. The evidence cleared Alicia's name and verified that she had been unarmed. Despite the revelation, it did not change Raj's situation. The killings at the warehouse were treated as premeditated homicides. During pre-trial confinement, Raj received a visitor request from Gloria Holmes, mother of Darius. In the visitation room, separated by glass, she looked at him for several minutes without speaking. Then she raised her hand to the glass. Raj placed his palm on the other side. She cried silently and said through the phone, "Thank you." Then she left. The trial began on May 9th, 2023, in Hudson County Superior Court. The prosecution charged Raj with 4 counts of murder, 1 for each victim, and additional firearm offenses. The state sought a life sentence. The defense attempted to argue diminished capacity due to trauma and cultural isolation, but Raj refused to support the claim. He told the court in clear English, "I knew what I was doing. I understood the law. I have no regrets." On July 14th, after 2 days of deliberation, the jury returned a unanimous verdict, guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced him to 25 years in New Jersey State Prison without parole, followed by deportation to India. Raj accepted the sentence standing, showing no visible emotion. The following months brought consequences beyond his cell. Federal review of Connor's career revealed additional victims. The Department of Justice placed the Jersey City Police Department under temporary federal oversight. Alicia Brooks Malhotra and Darius Holmes were posthumously recognized at a memorial for victims of police violence. 2 years later, in 2025, Raj's cell wall displayed 3 photographs: Alicia smiling at their wedding, Darius at the garage from 2013, and a small faded picture of his parents in Mumbai, who no longer answered his calls. He spent his days working in the prison workshop and reading manuals in the library. One afternoon, he received a letter from Tyler Reed. The detective wrote that he had quit drinking and was assisting the federal audit of Connor's cases. 3 more wrongful killings had been confirmed, including one involving an Indian Uber driver. Families had received compensation. Reed's note ended with, "You did what I couldn't. The system is changing." "Thank you." Raj read the letter once, tore it into pieces, and threw it away. That night he wrote to his parents in Hindi, apologizing for the disgrace his actions had brought, explaining that he could not stand by while justice was denied. He never mailed the letter. Lying on his bunk, he looked at the photos above his bed. He whispered in English, "I'm not a hero. I just loved you more than I feared prison." Then in Hindi, "Main tumse pyar karta tha." Guards' footsteps echoed down the corridor, metal doors clanging in rhythm. Raj closed his eyes. 23 years remained before release and deportation to a homeland that no longer felt like his. Yet within him, there was no anger left. Alicia's name had been cleared. Darius had not been forgotten. The price of justice had been paid.